Good evening and welcome to another Oblivion Play stream. Sorry about the delay, we got there in the end. It was world traffic generating the ground routes at Amsterdam, and about 180 routes that it needed to calculate, so it took a little bit longer than expected, but we're here now. And we are flying today in this beautiful Flight Factor A320 from Amsterdam Schipol over to the brand new scenery from Orbx, Leeds-Bradford airport. I've checked it out today, just had a few flights around, and absolutely love it. Great piece of scenery as per usual from Orbx. So we will be looking at that today. Short flight over, about 55 minutes, and let's get into that cockpit and start getting going. So let's just do our fuel and payload first. I haven't flown in the Flight Factor for absolutely ages, which is a bit of a shame because it is a great aircraft. Let me just get my flight plan up from PFPX as per usual. So we are looking at a fuel of 4,471 kilos. Get the fuel truck over, then you can change things until easier. 471. Can you actually? Oh, you can actually enter it in. Oh no, you can't. 4471. That's probably the nearest. Don't know what the difference between set and get is, but hopefully that's done the right thing. Okie dokie. So passengers on board, I've got 148 plus 3 children using PFPX. So let's see how close we get. We'll go to max then, because clearly there's a different, it's because we've got business class, I guess. Set, and what does that make our zero fuel weight? 53,690. Yeah, so we actually got significantly more on PFPX, but that's not to worry. We'll, if anything, we've just planned for a little bit extra. It's because we've got business class. Okay, and then we can increase the cargo, of course we can. So what's the difference? It was 53,690, and we need 58,368. So what we can do is just get as much cargo on board. Looking at about 5,000 or something, aren't we? Let's just see what that does. 58,185, so couple hundred kilos. Let's see how that does. 58,424. Perfect, that'll do. Excellent. So let's start working through our flows and checklists and get this bad boy online. Get up to the top. There we go. So they actually on this checklist they do the screen lights, or screen brightness, should I say, first. So let's do that. Let's get the cams up, and let's get the batteries on. I love in this aircraft they actually model like the sounds of the battery load. So as you put increased load on the battery, it kind of changes the background sound that you hear. So bats 1 and 2 are on. Let's get the GPU connected, and there we go. Get the pack flow to low, and let's get the IRSs aligned, ADIAs as they're called in the Airbus world. So just wait for that to go off the battery, and then we'll keep going on. It seems to be modelled slightly different to the ToLus A390. There seems to be a bit longer. It kind of goes through like a self-test before it goes on battery, and then before it kind of switches back off again. It seems to be a slightly slower process. And then the last one. Okay, so let's get these pumps on. Basically want to get rid of all the white lights, get the electric pump on. Again, that seems to be in the Flight Factor checklist, but not in the ToLus checklist, but we'll abide by that. We're in the Flight Factor after all today. Let's get the nav lights on, no need for the logos. Get the seatbelts on and the non-smoking. I don't even know why they bother with non-smoking anymore, because I don't think there's an airline in the world that lets you smoke on an aircraft. Let's get the emergency lights armed. And I think that's pretty much us done there. Let's just check what we've done so far with the checklist. So, yeah, we've done the displays. We don't need the floodlights or the integrated lights. Batteries are on, external power's on, IRS is aligned, electrical hydraulic pumps are on, fuel pumps are on, engine gens are on, packs 1 and 2 are on, engine bleeds are on, hot air is on, I think. I didn't check that, but I'm pretty sure it defaults to on. Where are we? Hot air, yeah, so it's not, I'm assuming, yeah, well, it doesn't even look like you can turn it on or off, doesn't even make any difference. Might be because we've not got any actual air going through it, not to worry. Yeah, cabin signs are on, yeah, no, yeah, so we're looking good. GPWS on, yeah. So parking brakes set, flaps are 0, and parking brakes definitely on. Speed brake is probably full from my last flight, so good thing we checked that. Engine masters 1 and 2 are off, so it seems to save your state from your previous flight, so that was actually worth checking. Engine blow selector is normal, yep, thrust levers are idle. Transponder is on standby, is it? Yep. And radio control panel is on. I always forget to turn that on the Solus. Frequencies are set, we don't need to do anything because we're not using ATC today. EHAM recall button. I should know where that is. Select. Not actually ever pressed that button before. Let's see if we can find it quickly, otherwise we'll ignore that bit. Ah, there we go, there's recall. Yeah, so we're fine. It's just a nav TCAS fault, because we haven't put in the info yet for that. Anti-skid is on, nose wheel steering, and the flight directors we need to turn on as well. Again, that's not, I don't think that's going to work until we've aligned the IRSs. So let's do that now. So nav data's up to date, so let's update that today, and then let's put in our route to EHAM to Echo Golf November Mike. And let's align the IRS. Cruise flight level today, and temperature is 380 minus 51. Cost index, I always just use 20. I don't know if that's right, that's what I always do. Let's just put a placeholder, flight number in. Shouldn't make any difference, but sometimes it does. Let's request the winds. And, right, 0 fuel weight. Just remind myself what that was. It was 58.4. And our 0 fuel weight centre of gravity is 25.9. It's there in case you were wondering where I was getting that information from. And right, block fuel. Let me just double check before I say something stupid. I'm pretty sure block fuel is what we actually use during the flight. Oh no, so it's total fuel. Fair enough. I thought it would be just the trip fuel, but it's not. It's the total fuel on board. So that's 4.5. There you go. You learn something every day. Okay, so that's done the fuel and balance, and let's go to the flight plan. So EHAM, our departure, I've again checked this as I always do with Flight Radar 24, and we're taking off from runway 24, which is the current active at Schipol. 24, there you are. Ooh. Too many runways. And then it's the Berg 1S departure. The Bergie. And then we'll go click on the left soft key next to that, click on the Airways button, and then we're going to UL 602. Like I said, relatively short flight today, so this shouldn't take too long. MIMVA. Direct to Otbed. Y70 to Goalies. And then Goalies UL 975. UL 975 to Upton. Direct to Pole, and then direct to Leeds. So is there not a... There seems to be a start for some reason. But we are landing on the ILS runway 32. So ILS 32. Lovely. And then get rid of that discontinuity. And let's have a little peek. Oh, we can't. Oh, can we? Oh, no, we can. Yeah. Ignore me. Let's go back all the way to the start, and then we can just check everything is logical and makes sense. So straight out, make a right turn, head west towards the UK, and then to Pole, and then we're just coming round and straight onto the ILS. Wonderful. Looks good. Let's go to the perf page, and we'll do a flaps one. Obviously, it's long runway today. Let's have a look at the where am I looking? Trim positions up 0.5. Doesn't seem to be like a flex temp setting that I can see. I don't know whether it gives you one once it's kind of worked out where you are. Can't imagine it will do. No. So what we'll do is we'll just... actually, no, it knows we're on runway 24. Usually, on the tow list, it's usually 66, and I think that's reasonable. So what we'll do is we'll go to that, and then put in the V speeds. So V1 will be 134 as well. Excellent. So that's looking excellent. So cruise, yeah, 380, suggesting 390, but not a huge amount of difference, so we'll just leave it as is. And we'll put 380 into the MCP. I like in the Airbus that you can switch between hundreds and thousands of feet. It makes it a lot quicker to set, unlike in the Boeing. Obviously, when you're actually on a Boeing, it's much easier to change it kind of by hand. Let's get the QNH using our old friend, the Aviator's tablet. So we're going to EHAM. Useful to have it up anyway for when we're... Oh yeah, there we go. What's going on here? Can you make it bigger? Okay, 1003 is the QNH. So a little bit, well, not that windy, 12 knots wind, and oh, forgot. My Civ brain has already forgotten what the QNH was. 1003. There we go. Okie dokie. So the IRSs or the ADIs have aligned, so we're good on that side. Let's go back to ARC. And everything is looking good. That should be in the manage mode. There we go. Altitude's fine. Flight directors are on and indicating now. So let's go back to our checklist to make sure we're doing well. Okay. So transponder we're not going to set because we don't need to. MCDU is set. QNH is set. ND is set. VOR we don't need. And speed, yeah, so all of the MCP settings are all in managed mode. IRS are aligned. Flight directors are fine. Landing system is switched off. And we go to the before start checklist. So let's make sure we got all the fuel on board. Yep, 4.5. Does that match? It does. Matches with our plan. And we can get the APU online now. It doesn't look like the Flight Factor actually, when they introduced the new particle effect system, I think it was it 11.35, you'd get blur out of the APU, which I thought was quite cool, attention to detail. But it doesn't look like the Flight Factor actually incorporated that into their model. Let's get the beacon on because we're going to be starting up soon. So APU is coming online. APU gen is now online. 0% load because we're still off on the external power. So what we'll do is we'll disconnect that. And now we are connected to the APU. Let's get all these doors closed and the ground power removed. I'll show you what I mean. So the APU lights on and everything, so it's functioning. You can hear it, but it doesn't have that the blur that you get behind all the engines and on a lot of the the aircraft that have been optimised for 11.35 now. Okay, so let's go back to the before start checklist. Make sure we haven't missed anything. So, yep, fuel's fine. Chocks are removed. Traffic cones are removed. APU's started. APU bleeds on. External power's off. Doors closed and beacon is on. So let's get the pushback truck coming on over. Better pushback if you don't have it. It is definitely a must-have for X-Plane 11.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
I don't know why in Europe they have an American accent. Okay, yeah, so we've done that. Yeah, that's fine. So we just basically, once we gain pushback, we just need to go through the usual engine start checklist. Just checking something, because earlier when I was trying to start the engines in the Flight Factor, you had to manually switch off the bleeds, which on every other A320 series simulation you don't actually need to do. It just seems to do it automatically, so I don't know whether I'm going to have to do it this time. We'll find out in a sec.
Alright, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
You just don't sound very Dutch, do you, mate? So this is just the default Amsterdam senior. It might be one of the ones that Aerosoft kind of made for X-Plane, but it's really old, and they are starting to show their age, but it's free, can't complain. As we get lifted up onto the tow truck.
Captain. Tow's connected, bypass pins inserted. Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go. Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
So America. Alright. So to me that sounds like the bleeds have turned off, so we shall see if it turns on automatically. Or do I need to turn the bleed off? Nothing seems to be happening. No. So I think we've got to turn off the engine bleeds manually. Sorry, the packs. I'm talking about bleeds. Packs is what I meant. So we'll try that now. It doesn't. It's not actually in the checklist, but maybe the packs aren't supposed to be on anyway. Right, where were we? Whereas when you turn them off, it works. So, like I said, every other A320 series, it automatically turns the packs off. I don't know if there's a setting. Is there like an automatic pack setting? There's one there. And it is in the auto position. That seems to be the crossbleed rather than any packs, so I don't know. Anyway. So that sounds like a good start to me. Yep, so engine 2 is online, so let's get engine 1 online.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake. And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
And that's engine number 2 online. So we'll go to flaps 1. And we will turn the packs back on. Get the APU bleed off and the APU master off, so the APU can start shutting down. And we'll get the... Actually, the last thing we'll do is to get the taxi light on, because I don't want to blind the poor pushback truck driver. And let's do the after start checklist. What we need to do is just do the flight controls check. And just... Actually, I wonder if it does it automatically if we go back to normal. No, it doesn't. So flight control checks are full left.
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the right. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
Full up. Full down, full left on the rudder, and full right on the rudder. I don't know where the frame rate on the displays. I don't know whether it's actually simulated that it's slow, or whether that's what it's like in real life, or whether it's just a setting. I've changed the kind of display settings to normal now, so I don't know whether that'll do it. But basically, it's not going to update until I reload the aircraft. Right, we've got the thumbs up, so let's get the taxi light on, and we'll just go run through the checklist, make sure we've not missed anything. So anti-ices are as required, we don't need it today. APU bleeds off, APU master's off, picture trim, and you've forgotten something. Go back to the flight control page, and it was not up 0.5. Whoa, way too quick. Okay, engine mode selector is to normal, spoilers armed, flaps set to 1 and indicating, and rudder trim is 0, yeah it will be. Flight controls check, done. EHAM door page, I mean, be a little bit late to make sure your doors are cleaned up, but I guess better late than never. So everything's in the green. And EHAM status is fine, we just got the takeoff checklist. Hand signals are received, so we are good to taxi. And parking brake, yeah, auto brake we can set to max as well. So parking brake released, and we'll just get the chart up for, where's my tab? There it is. We'll just get the airport chart up so we know where we're taxiing to. I think it's a relatively short taxi, because we're going to 24, so it's literally just straight out here, and then it's the kind of runway that's almost straight ahead of us. So it's there for reference in a second, and so yeah, parking brakes release, auto brakes max, taxi lights on, takeoff config, it's fine. Cabin we can check, so you do that by going to the, the FAP page, and then just click the cabin ready button on that page, and everything's in the green on the takeoff page. And let me just get onto the rudder pedals. Just watching that ground speed, making sure we don't exceed 20 knots. As we make this right turn, let me just get the tablet back up again. Just to see, we'll go to the second right, so Bravo, and taxi down Bravo, and then that will take us nicely to runway 24. Having spent all that time loading up world traffic, it doesn't actually seem to have populated all that many aircraft into Amsterdam. But, oh well, I've set everything to 100%, so I don't really know what else I can do. I think because I've set it to use real world timetables, that seems to actually populate fewer aircraft for some reason. Okay, so we are not taking this left, we're kind of zigzagging that way. So it's kind of like diagonally to our right and then joining 2-4. So it's this bit just here. Okay, so just have the lights to turn on. So TCAS will turn on now. Let me just make sure we're not going to crash. So TCAS is on. Engine mode selected. We're going to leave to normal. Brake temperature. Is fine. Brake fans off. Sliding tables are stowed. Takeoff clearance is obtained. External lights we will switch on now. As we move on to the runway, and we're good to go. So let's enjoy this. You do get kind of a sense of weight in the
2-4
Flight Factor, whereas the Tolus feels very light. It just takes a bit more energy to get the aircraft moving, which I guess is pretty realistic. The A319 is a significantly smaller aircraft.
On runway 24.
I like the fact you get the call outs as well for the runways. Okay, so everything's looking good. Like I said, landing checklist is all in the green. Let's get the engines going. So man, flex, SRS, climb, nav. And because I always forget it, let's get that chronometer going. 80 knots. V1, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. And let's hand fly this for a little bit. Enjoy that amazing flight model. So there's the climb. Just dip the nose down a little bit. Follow that flight director. I'm going to make a left turn in a bit as we punch through these clouds. There's the slap retraction speed. So clean up those flaps. Bring that nose up a tad. And there's the beauty of flight as we break through these clouds. Absolutely stunning. So we're getting the indicator that we need to go to standard as we make a right turn. And after takeoff checklist, disarm the spoiler. Ooh, we don't want to do that. and engine mode selector is fine. Taxi light off. Engine and wing anti-ice we don't need. Packs 1 and 2 are already on anyway. And we'll get the autopilot on now. Is it really that low, the standard altitude? Is it like 3,000 feet or something? Let's have a little look. I think I might have been conned there. It's always on the approach charts. Yeah, it's 3,000. Wow, really low for a standard altitude. Okie dokie. But I guess you know, with the number of traffic, they probably just need everyone on the same page. So off we go. Oh, for some reason the TCAS didn't turn on. Because I moved over the wrong one. That was silly. So there's 10,000 feet. Let's get those landing lights off. And we can get the... Wow, just give it a couple of... I like to let the aircraft settle a little bit before I get the passenger signs off. We power out over what looks like the channel. I suspect we've already hit it. Yep. The Holland's behind us. Beautiful aircraft. So we can get that range up on the flight display, map display, and we can get the passenger signs off now. Always fine. There we go. And just go over to next, which is 10,000 feet. So external lights are off, seatbelt signs are off now. Pressurization, we'll just double check. Yeah, so that's looking good. In fact, the page does this tell? Yeah, this tells you already. Pressurization, then it's all working fine. Next is pre-descent, so we've got a little while to go before that. So let's sit back and relax and enjoy the flight. Okay, really good performance off this aircraft, has to be said. Frames are looking good. What are we getting? Yep. Pretty bang on 30. I suspect as soon as we hit the UK that will plummet. So it's like top of climb and top of descent right next to each other. Unsurprisingly, you know, going up to that high and what is a relatively short flight. I really do hope they can optimise xEnviro and improve it just that little bit more. So it just looks... Because the volumetric clouds just make such a big difference. Like, I've never got that same sensation of realism when you fly through volumetric clouds versus, you know, the sprites that you get in the other weather model, weather add-ons that you get. It just doesn't have that same effect.
Effect going on there.
Alright, let's go have a look at the progress page. So 11:18 is the estimated time of arrival, so add on another 10 minutes to what the stream ETA is saying at the top. It would be because basically the stream ETA just goes as the crow flies to Leeds, whereas we're going via Pole, which is kind of a little bit of a detour. Good evening, Mike. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Let's get that display just down to 160 nautical miles. I think we'll probably only be doing about, what, 10, 20 nautical miles on the cruise before we start our descent. So what we can probably do actually is just start getting that landing information in, just in preparation. So, Leeds. EGNM. Let's close down our Amsterdam info, we don't need that anymore. Let's get it all up to date. So QNH is 1000. Temperature at Leeds is a nice cool 14 degrees. And wind is variable at 3 knots. So just put in 000 at 3. And is transition altitude correct? We shall have a check on our approach page. So ILS category 2-3, runway 32. Where's the transition altitude? Why is it not on here? Oh yeah, 5,000. Decision height is 50. Config full, which is fine. And that's us done. It's actually pretty surprisingly short runway at Leeds. It creeps up on you, and it's made harder by the fact that it's very sloping. So as you're coming down for that kind of final flare, you're on a downslope. So you've got to be quite cautious that you don't float and just basically run halfway down the runway. So that'll be a nice little challenge for us. But having said that, really cool approach. It's kind of perched on top of a hill with stunning scenery surrounding it, and like I said earlier, the Orbx scenery is incredible, so makes it interesting. Okay, so ATIS we've got from Avitab. Flight plan perf, yeah, well that's set, we've just done all that basically. Nav accuracy, ooh, not done that before, but we can set our auto brake to low. It's a short runway, but it's not that short. Anti-ice we don't need, and seatbelt signs will do when we're a little bit closer to our kind of final approach. How are you doing this evening, Mike? And land ho, or land ahoy, whatever it is. Oh man, frames when you look at Orbx, TrueEarth. Those textures, they're pretty, but they do use up a lot of performance. It's 11:19, so we've got about half an hour to go. So we slowly creep up to it's still climbing. Still haven't figured out how to do that vote for the landing rate. Need to do some research, find out how you do it, because it's quite fun. Must be some kind of like voting tool where you, whoever gets closest to a particular number. Let's have a little quick look. So stream. So which one do I use again? It's Streamlabs, isn't it? So it's the Nightbot. Is it Nightbot? Is it Cloud? I think it's Cloudbot, is it? Streamlabs Chatbot. So yeah, so that uses I'm sure it's Cloud, like Cloudbot or something like that. Chatbot. Vote, number vote. Nearest number or something like that. So I wonder if they've done it like as a custom script. Oh, there we go, top of cruise. Got there in the end. Someone must have made it, because like, loads of people have it, and I imagine not everyone's able to make scripts, unless it's quite straightforward. Nope, can't figure it out. I'll have to look at it tomorrow. Now, question is, does the weather radar work in this aircraft? Oh, that annoys me when it does that. Oh. Right, it definitely works. Does it work with... x-enviro? Oh, you can't select that to auto. I suspect it won't. It never really does. Okay, so we need to set our altitude to 2,300. Or do we? So we'll probably a Cat C. I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect an A320 be Cat C, so it'll actually be 3,000. Is that a little bit? Yeah, I'm sure a little big enough to be 3,000. Set that to 3,000, and then we just need to watch the VNAV path as we approach the top of descent. And make sure we click the button. So fuel transfer is complete. We've got empty tanks on the outer wings. Ooh. Stuttering. A bit of boat in, probably. Yeah, the frame rate's already down to like 20-ish, isn't it? Let's have a look. Oh, it's so bad. Fluctuates a lot. Tweak Utility's doing its best. Oh my god. Tweak Utility's doing its best to keep us at around about 20, so that'll do. Let's go down to 80 nautical miles on the map display. .20 nautical miles to top of descent. So 10:56. So what we're looking at? 3 more minutes to top of descent. Just need to make sure we're paying attention to the. It's a little VNAV path will appear here, and that'll dictate when we need to press in the button for. Activating the descent. So ignore that clock there. For we're not doing it like in real time. I just wanted to move it back so that it was daytime, so you could actually see the scenery. So obviously the sims at that time, but we're. This is obviously the time that will actually arrive in real time. So not long now at all, and we can hit that as we hit that top of descent. So we'll look where we are. So getting to the east coast of England, just north of East Anglia. We'll be heading in over Lincoln. So Leeds-Bradford Airport's around about here. Like I said, it's up in the... So the surrounding area is actually quite flat, and then the airport just seems to be in a little patch of hills, which makes the approach quite challenging, particularly when it's windy. If you look on YouTube, there's loads of videos of people filming like aircraft landing at Leeds when it's really windy, and it's absolutely crazy. Like you see all the like the Dash 8s just bouncing about because they're such light aircraft, and even like the 737s are getting a bit of a beating. I suspect, well, just with the topography of the area and the fact that it's such like rolling hills, it's asking for like crazy wind patterns. So must be any second now. I think it's the down arrow that we want for the button. Nope, it's the up arrow then. Down we go. There's the little green icon, which we'll follow. So actually it kind of seems a little bit backwards with the indication, so I know you push that button in to enter manage mode, whereas that would, I don't know, up to me would indicate kind of pulling the lever out, so it's just something to consider. But something is raping my CPU. It's that problem with TrueEarth. They really do like. I don't know how they can do it, but it's. I mean, I've got a pretty decent system, and it's. I'm barely hitting 20 frames, even in 1080p. I don't know what you guys find when if you have TrueEarth, but it's. I don't know. It just seems a little bit crazy how much it's impacting. In particular, like the VRAM as well. It just even they say you can't set your like texture resolution settings to greater than high. If you get to maximum, our system just crashes. As Mike knows, when we did that stream from Inverness to Manchester, it just X-Plane gave up. Okie dokie, let's get the seatbelt signs on. Which I think completes our pre-descent checklist, it does. So, sliding tables are stowed. Exterior lights will switch on as we approach 10,000 feet. We've done the seatbelt signs, landing system, and everything else will do, as we're basically at 10,000 feet, so. Little way to go just yet. Jay Archer, welcome to the stream. New face, not seen you before. Nice to have someone new into the stream. You've just bought Leeds-Bradford Orbx and it dropped FPS 24. I know. What I would recommend, I don't know if you already have it, but there's a plugin called FlyAggy Tweak Utility. And it's just basically a tool that just helps flatten out your FPS by managing your level of detail and a few other things. I'm going to be doing a video on my X-Plane settings and how FlyAggy works and everything like that. But just give it a Google search and you'll find it. It really does help when you've got these scenery packs that just take a huge load off on your system. and just tries to smooth that frame rate out. Because I found the same. Basically, it's fine up until about like short final, and then suddenly your frames just drop. I had the same when I went to Geneva as well. I think it's just like poorly optimized scenery. Going to 40 nautical miles now. No worries at all. I'm here to help. I mean, I didn't even know, because there was like a add-on for like P3D and FSX that did something similar, which I didn't really get on with, but a lot of people did rave about, which basically just dynamically adjusted your level of detail. So I didn't actually realise there was something that equivalent for X-Plane, so that, but having discovered that is quite useful. It does other things other than just doing like your graphical settings that I'll show you. So like, you can add in things like bird strikes, it adds some like sound effects in, and some other things I haven't even like got close to looking at. Another thing that you can do is basically affect like the distance that the atmosphere effects are generated, which can help your frames as well, which is reducing that down to like 30,000. I personally don't like it because basically you get like a ring of haze around your aircraft, which is quite noticeable, but it's something to consider because it does make a big difference. Lewis, hello! Welcome to the stream. I hope you're well. So slow climb up and very slow climb down as well. So just crossing, what was that, 25,000 feet, so we're getting there. So the final approach is popping into our map display now, so let's have a little look. IETA 11:21, so just under 20 minutes to go. Fair bit of stuttering. And I found the solution to my internet problem, which is basically getting a Wi-Fi extender and then connecting to that with an Ethernet cable, and then that basically connects to my router downstairs. I'm basically where my computer is, it's so far away from the router. I think I was just getting a lot of interference, which is why I was getting all those drop frames in the last couple of streams. And today seems very stable, and I've even gone to quite a high bit rate, and it's remained stable throughout. So I hope you guys have noticed the improvement in the stream quality. rather than the internet that's causing problems tonight. I think it's more just my CPU load with TrueEarth loading, kind of essentially overloading my CPU at times. Alright, let's get the lights on. It's a really shallow descent path, when you find the toeless, if anything it's too steep and you have to use the speed brake, whereas in the Flight Factor A320 it seems like it's actually too shallow, and we're having to give the plane a little bit of extra thrust as we're going down. Seems a bit counterintuitive. So, sliding tables are stowed, external lights are on, seatbelt signs are on, landing system we can turn on now. We can also put the constraints on, and EHAM status is absolutely fine. And we're pretty much there because the landing checklist appears on the EHAM display, so we've got kind of a visual reference there. What we will do is just arm the speed brake. And as we get a bit closer, basically when we hit that decel point we'll go down to flaps 1. As we go into localize we'll get to flaps 2. And then as the glide select comes alive, go flaps 3 and gear down. And then on short final we'll go flaps 4. So for landing approach today, we haven't got the luxury of a really long runway like we normally do, so we will ensure we're at the optimum speed. And I test landed there. Basically I wanted to check out the scenery earlier on today, and funny enough, actually on auto brake low, it was enough decel to slow the aircraft down. Although we probably will use pretty much the whole entire runway. I've noticed this is one of the bugs with xEnviro. You kind of almost like creates tiles, and sometimes it's very obvious where those tiles kind of connect, particularly when it doesn't load in anything in like one of the tiles, so you get these like straight edges. It's a little bit annoying. So, airport will be down there under the clouds. Probably would have been visible if it wasn't such a cloudy day. Fantastic looking scenery out there, as we I suspect that'll be the outskirts of the Peak District. And we can go down to 20 nautical miles on display. So the first little pink icon will be when we hit 10,000, so that's like the initial bell, and then this one where the kind of like top initial end of descent is where we decel down to like the first flap speed, which is when we'll introduce flap 1. So, about to hit the first decel point as we then make our right turn around. Pole's very significant for the approaches into Manchester as well. I noticed most of the kind of like initial approaches into Manchester go via Pole. Not necessarily the stars, but you know, it's usually that's one of the last VOR before you kind of move on to the star at Manchester. So there you go. There's decel. So going down to 250 knots. Just get the. Does this do the same? No, it doesn't quite do the same ones what the tortoise does. I don't think. With the TOLIS you can kind of like pre-program in your altimeter so that you don't actually switch to it until you click it again. Because that doesn't actually seem to do anything until you click it. Some wind turbines down there. I wonder if you can actually see. I don't know whether the VOR towers are simulated in with the TrueEarth scenery, because you can see them in real life. You can keep an eye out. Driving, they're usually quite close to motorways and things. So you keep an eye out for them. They tend to be pretty enormous. So we'll switch over to the QNH, which we'll just make sure is up to date. Yep, QNH 1000. Was that? That's QFE. Yeah, QNH 1000. So this is an Orbx. It is Orbx scenery, but it's not ortho in the sense that I've used like the Ortho for XP add-on. It's basically Orbx have taken ortho scenery and then optimized it in quotation marks because it's not very well optimized, but probably a little bit better than what it would be. You know, if you had that kind of uncompressed ortho scenery. So it is a little bit more compressed, and then they've added in like loads of landmarks and things. And all the buildings and stuff are correctly positioned and basically look a lot more like UK buildings rather than generic X-plane buildings. But they are big files, like 20 to 30 gigabytes just for each region, and there's 3 regions in the UK. So, as suspected, I don't think that actually is the weather. I think that's bouncing off the ground. So what we'll do is just turn off the radar now. Well, actually, maybe not. It's difficult to tell, really, but it could potentially be the weather that we're seeing. We'll turn it off anyway. It's not massively benefiting us now, anyway. What we can do is just get onto that fat page. It definitely did say that before I'm taking a piss out of it. Yeah, it does. Because basically when is that the right button? Yeah. So basically when we're on the final approach and we get the landing checklist, there's a button to basically make sure that the cabin's ready, and that just clicks that point off the landing checklist. As we approach these lovely clouds, thanks to xEnviro, and we can get out to 10 nautical miles on the range as well. So come out to 3,000 feet now. So soon to be at the decel point, and then we'll turn into the final approach. A little clearing in the clouds. So I don't know whether that's Leeds below us. Yep, looks like it. Okay, So we have decelerated, so once we've passed the flap speed indicator we'll go down to flaps 1, which is, give it a little bit longer, when we hit 220 we'll go down there. As we start that turn, what we'll do is we'll activate the approach. That's flaps 1. It's accidentally locked my thrust on my throttle. Kicked us out of speed hold. Okay, so hit that approach button. Almost at the glide slope. There's the localizer, we'll go flaps 2. And there's the glide slope, gear down. And flaps 3.
$2,500.
Once we're fully settled and probably around about 5 nautical miles away from the airport, we'll go flaps full, and once visual I will take control of the aircraft. Boris, just in time indeed. Welcome to the stream. Flaps full. I hope you're well. And let's take control. So you can see what I mean, it's just kind of like perched on top of a hill. It's quite cool. So that means just making sure the cover's ready. So landing checklist, gears down, spoilers are armed. And landing memo didn't have a blue, but obviously it's overridden by the fact that
Approaching.
the autopilot
3,
off now.
2.
But there wouldn't have been.
1,000.
Gear down 3 green as well. So just a 3 knot crosswind, nothing too dramatic.
$500.
So the usual lights just be a tad below the glide slope, just so I've got a bit of room for flare.
300. 200. 100 above. 100. Minimum 50,
Landing.
40, 30, 20. Retard. Retard.
5,000 feet remaining.
There's 80 knots, side or reverse. And we'll take manual braking. 60 knots, stow the reversers. See if we can get this next right. Start to clean up. runway turn-offs off, get the landing lights off, and we'll leave the strobe and the taxi light on just because we have to backtrack up the runway. Missed the landing rate as per usual. You guys have to let me know what it was. It seemed alright though, bit of a hard one, but like I said when we were coming in, it's better to get down a little bit on the hard side because of the downsloping runway. Otherwise, you'll just float all the way down the runway. They do a good job on the runway. Yeah, it looks really nice. Just make sure the runway's clear. Nice
Approaching
sloping runway,
4.
like I said. So what I'll be doing is taxiing back to the gate, and what we'll do is do some replays, and then we'll wrap up the stream. I was going to do a little treat at the end of the stream, which is just going to fire the Mac loop in Wales, but we've kind of run out of time, so we'll have to call it a day there. But do stick around for the replays. In the meantime, do hit that like button. If you're enjoying the stream, do subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified when I'm next streaming, and click onto my Facebook page so that you can get up-to-date info on when I'm streaming and any kind of general updates that I'm doing. But otherwise, just if you're interested, wait for the replays, and then we'll wrap it up there. So spoilers are retracted, engine mode selected as normal, flaps are retracted, transponder will stick to standby once we're off the runway. And let's just see what the brake temps are fine, actually they're 115. And then we'll turn off the exterior lights, we'll turn on the APU. Take this next left. Turn off the transponder and try not to mow the grass. Turn the nose light to taxi and strobe off. Bit of a slope on this taxiway. Yep, so that's good. Just make sure the APU bleeds on. Join a fellow KLM. Not many empty gates. Hopefully there'll be one. Yeah, where that jetway is, there should be an empty gate there. Oh no, there's a little plane in there. Hi Chris Elker, welcome to the stream. Don't think I've seen you on here before, so warm welcome. Yes, it is xEnviro, and yes, they do affect the lighting to a certain degree. So if we go into the xEnviro settings, I'll show you quickly. There's like this brightness, contrast, vibrance, and gamma settings. You can either go like vivid, which to me is not natural at all, or you click the natural button, or you can just play around with it yourself. We'll take this next left. So there's a Jet 2 taxiing to the runway, I think, over there. There's a little marsh there. That's pretty cool. It's like the good old days of GSX. Okay, park and brake on. And let's turn our taxi light off. And let's turn our engines off. Oops. And let's turn off. There we go, back online again. Just when it kind of initially fizzled off, I thought it hadn't switched over to the APU, but I think there was just a bit of a delay. Right, let's get the passenger signs off as well, and then get the APU connected. Sorry, the GPU connected. And we can turn off the APU now. Cool. Beacon off, and we can get the passengers off. Welcome to Leeds-Bradford. Doesn't seem to have Watergate, unfortunately. Like I said, this is brand new scenery from Orbx. Does the airport and the surrounding scenery, and you know, it comes with the static aircraft. You can turn that off if you want. Fits nicely into TrueEarth as well. Which version of xEnviro? It's the latest one. I think it's like let's have a look. Is it 11 point? Where is it? xEnviro. See if it says for you. It's probably in the about section actually. 1 second. It's whatever this latest one. Basically the one that comes with the 1.11. So the one that comes with the volumetric clouds. Cool. Okay, let's do some replays. I suspect I probably might have to change settings. We'll just see what happens. Yeah, I noticed this. There's no sounds in the replay mode with the Flight Factor A320, so you'll have to excuse that, but you just get the idea of the visuals. So I'll shut up now, and you can enjoy the rest of the replays, and then we'll rejoin after I've done that. What is going on with those fan blades? Looks like a propeller plane. Jay Archer, thanks very much for subscribing. Much appreciated. A bit hard, but like I said, we need to get down at Leeds, otherwise you will end up at the other end of the runway. plane in the world over there, BAE 146. Great, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the stream. Do like the video, subscribe, hit the little bell notification if you want to watch more, and make sure that you like my Facebook page, because I do always post on my Facebook page when I'm streaming, and just gives you a bit of a heads up with the time. But otherwise, that's everything for today. Thanks very much for everyone who's joined us and got involved in the chat, much appreciated, and thanks for everyone who subscribed. So Jay Archer, thank you very much, and let's wrap this up. See you next time, guys.